everybody, to this episode of Unfiltered and Raw. Today's episode is about addiction because addiction is far deeper than drugs or alcohol. Addiction can become anything from gambling, porn, sex, shopping, dopamine, validation, chaos, toxic relationships, survival mode, or constantly running away from yourself. And often, addiction begins long before the substance ever appears. Many people who struggle with addiction are not weak, they are wounded. People trying to escape pain they never learned how to process. So today, our co-host Annika Maria is going to share her personal story from emotional emptiness and a father wound to partying, speed, ecstasy, cocaine, and LSD, to discovering that addiction constantly change shape when deeper emotional wounds remain unhealed. But this episode is not only about addiction, it is also about understanding the human consciousness, self-awareness, reprogramming the mind, and realizing that freedom becomes possible the moment you stop feeding the beast. This episode is packed with heavy, unfiltered content. We'll be exploring difficult truths, personal stories, and powerful insights. So sit back, fasten your seatbelt, and get ready for a deep dive, because this one is quite a ride. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to my wonderful co-host, Annika Maria. Annika, addiction is a topic that touches so many lives in different ways. Where would you like to begin today's conversation, Annika Maria?
So today the addiction beast, I like to call it, because to me that's what it was, the addiction beast, and I see it everywhere around me. Um, Myself, I have had many addictions, one after the other. It was like a chain of events, and I couldn't understand. I've had many. People sometimes have only one or two. I've had many. So ultimately, I see that as a gift now. That's why we're having this conversation. But addiction, any kind of addiction, whether it's substances, it is sex, it is gambling, it is being a cleaning addict, food, whatever it is, obvious or not obvious, it comes from an emotional wound. That is the core of every addiction. And that's what I want to start with. So for me, it was the not having my father close by. He was physically there, but emotionally he was unavailable. My father couldn't give me the love as a highly sensitive little girl that I deserved. But as a child, you feel those things, but you don't understand. And you develop as a teenager, and then it starts very subtle. You feel something is missing, but you don't know quite what. You cannot explain it, you can't grasp it yet. And then you start to
So,
choose.
for those who joined us, didn't see the other episode, so Annik, you're talking about an absent father, a father who was not available emotionally.
Yes.
So that I mean, I was reading a little bit about the father wound
Mm-hmm.
um, that father is your first love, for example, they say,
Yes.
and that will determine how you as a girl will gain self-confidence, how you perceive love in life. So the lack of this emotional father figure has triggered you to addiction. Sorry to interrupt you, but just
No, a broader explanation. That's exactly what happened. So I was dealing with this, not knowing I was dealing with this, and then I chose distractions. I thought I'll amuse myself a little bit, but it was just running away from what I could not process. This wound, the open wound, that gap, that void being there, and me not having a clue. So I started the substance years, I will call them. It was a temporary escape, I know. I didn't know that back then. In fact, it felt like relief in the beginning. You know, when you start to
So what was
take
your first addiction?
ecstasy. Yes,
Okay.
my then boyfriend gave me the tablet. I took that tablet, and it was like, ooh, Annick in Wonderland, let's say. So I was like, ooh, really happy on the clouds, really on the clouds. And he gave them to me for free. It was my boyfriend, he was the dealer, so it was very easy. Yes, it was easy for me. I just swallowed and had the experience. And then after a while, being with him, because it comes so easily, you try everything. You mix a little bit, you try a little bit of cocaine, you try a little bit of LSD, you do this, you do that, you do a mix, you get sick, you vomit, you try all kinds of things. And then in the end, I saw that okay, I like speed and ecstasy the most. I'm gonna do that. Also, many young girls take speed because speed makes you awake all night. You can't sleep if you take it, so you are able to party all night. You are full of energy, and also you stay slim because you don't have any appetite. That was also in my mind
Okay.
because I was very self-aware, and I had heard from A, B, or C person, oh, she's a little bit fat, and that stayed in my brain, and I thought, ooh, with the speed it's gonna be okay, but I'm gonna be slim and I'm gonna dance all night, and that will be no problem. So I was already, yeah. And I went completely in, and it went on for 3 years. It went on for 3 years to the point that it's gotten too ugly. But really, the choice of thing you take, whether it is heroin or it is what I took or it is cleaning, whatever it is, you are numbing something, right? You are avoiding
Yeah.
something. You are running from your own feeling. That's the same for everybody. And I find it weird sometimes that society is ranking those addictions in a strange kind of way. For example, I heard people say, oh, weed is not that bad. Or they say, well, porn is normal, everyone watches it from time to time. They say, oh, but gambling is innocent because it's just like entertainment, or alcohol is social, we drink a beer now and then, but they don't understand that it can escalate very quickly, that it is destroying families, it is destroying peace, identities, and entire lives. That's what it is doing, in fact. And so the substance or the choice of what you're doing, of your addiction, does not determine the danger of it. There is not one more dangerous than the other. It all comes down to the same thing. And it's also not, it doesn't determine your capacity to overcome it. Also not. That's what people think, but it's not. Okay, let me give you an example. People often say, oh, one man said to me, on what have you been addicted, Annick? I told him the ecstasy speed. I told him, And he said, oh, but that's not so bad then, because heroin addicts or methamphetamine addicts, crack addicts, that's far worse. It was easy for you. No, it's not. Because it's the wound underneath. It has nothing to do with your choice of substance or choice, whether it be food or whatever it is. There's nothing to do with that. It is
That's a
always,
very, very good point, exactly,
yes,
because it's the wound you try to
yes,
heal, which, I mean, it is not healing, it's just covering up,
covering
suffocating
up.
it.
It's escaping and numbing at full capacity. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It is your choice, of course, how you do it, which way, but comes all down to the same. But now, next, the addiction beast. I also call it the shape shifting beast. Because for me, when I managed to get rid of one addiction, the other would come. Then I managed to get rid of that one, another would come. It would take, I think, almost 2 decades of shape shifting. And then I realized, what the hell is going on? Why does it come back, but in another jacket, basically? Um,
So
so,
between, let me ask you a question. Between changing addiction,
mm,
would you have thought like I'm changing probably at the end or in between? You thought that things would get better, then it didn't get better, and you got back into a different addiction. So my question was between when you say ship shifting from one addiction to another addiction, was that because you didn't get that the same effect or the same satisfaction, or you wanted to get out of it? Why did you change from one thing to another?
well, it, in my opinion, it was completely subconscious. So I remember the first addiction, so the substances, it gotten so dark that I said to myself, I have to get out of here because I don't want to stay in this place, right? So I was very determined. I got over the addiction. We'll come to that later, how I did that, because it's very important. And then in my mind, I was sober. Nothing could touch me. I was untouchable, and I would make everything okay. And then subconsciously, because I did not address that wound, I got on with life, and another addiction creeped in in a subtle way. I did not even realize because when you do substances, it's very obvious. When you do, for example, 2 months of heroin, I did not do that, but I'm gonna take it as an example because it's a very heavy drug. When you do 2 months of heroin, you will see it physically. That person will be like a zombie, basically. You'll see it on their skin, they pale, they emaciated. It's obvious. But when you do 2 months of cigarettes, 2 months of porn, 2 months of cleaning, of food, it's not that obvious because you don't see it physically. It's more subtle. It creeps in and no one sees it. You could project that you have a perfect life, but underneath it's stirring. That's how I got it into those other addictions. It was really under the surface. The beast is very subtle and very clever. Yeah. So I was not weak. I was not evil. But sometimes I thought I was. But I struggled with myself, to sit with myself, to have this emotion. That was the big void, the big gap. I was not looking in the mirror yet to address the wound. And as long as the wounds stay open, it will come back in another way. It will come back.
So, what did the substance give you emotionally?
I can't speak for other people, so I was emotionally empty, drained. I was very insecure about myself, how I looked, everything. Very self-aware. And as soon as I took a tablet or an LSD or whatever it was I chose, that was gone. I remember in the club, oh my god, there was this real big masculine bouncer. I was so afraid of him. Um, he was, I think, half Chinese. He had like this haircut of short hair and very long in the back. And he was very um, strict looking. So he was like this. And I was like, whew, I was avoiding him. As soon as I took the freaking tablet, I swear to you, 30 minutes, because it takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes, I explicitly didn't eat, because if you don't eat, it's faster. After my 20 minutes of, I called it, it has done boom. When the boom occurred, I was totally over the guy. I went to him, I said, oh, how are you? I was stroking his hair. And if I'm my normal own self, I was afraid of him. So I was like, oh no, this guy is like strict. I'm not gonna say anything to him. But when I took those tablets, I was all over the place. So you are not yourself. You are opening
I can
portals
see,
and you
yeah.
are different.
So
Yes,
basically change your personality,
yes,
makes you forget about things. And
yes,
if you have a scary monster in front of you, you don't see that monster. You become just lovable and
yes.
mild and oh wow.
It opens you up. That's why they give it for girls to rape them,
Yeah.
because it makes them more willing. You are more open to. You don't question things. You're open to everything. You see rainbows and butterflies everywhere. All is beautiful. All, even the ugly
Wow.
stuff. It's beautiful.
I understand. Wow. You once said every time you overcame one addiction, another one appeared.
Yes,
So, as you were explaining, is like you call the shape shifting,
yes,
because you thought, okay, I'm getting over. But apart from, so let's say these father wound, there was this emotion, neglect, that emptiness. How did it manifest in real life? So, was it lack of self confidence, lack of love? Um, how did it manifest for you to go out there and try to, fill the space?
I think it was subconscious. I was not even thinking about it. It was
Yeah,
only after I had the addictions and when I started to doing those therapies, and then they give you like reflection sheets, you have to journal. I, I started only then to ask myself certain questions, as before I wasn't aware of anything. It was total, no, not anything. It was me walking basically around with an open wound and attracting all those things to me, because that's what you do when you walk around with an unresolved or open wound. You attract those kinds of things.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that stays with your subconscious, and
Yes,
unknowingly, you go out there and looking to feel and in a way recreate this situation because subconsciously you attract those conditions.
yes.
Interesting.
Basically, you don't know your own mind at that point. You don't know your own mind. But ultimately, the mind is the greatest weapon, because
Yeah.
when you, for me, it was like 2 decades. I have said that one after the other. My body and my mind was running on certain programs during that 2 decades, certain pathways in the brain. I was repeating over and over again because the shape shifting beast came to visit every time. And it was only after I got aware and conscious that I understood that you can reprogram your own brain. Anyone can reprogram their own brain. But of course, it needs consciousness to reprogram their own brain, because it consists out of, before the battle can begin, I'm gonna call it like that, the battle is not only physical, It's also emotional, the wound. It is
Yeah.
behavioral, and it is neurological. That's why I say these pathways, the old pathways from the 2 decades, you have to create new pathways, new behaviors, new habits, and do them consistently over and over again. Then your brain starts to go in a different way. You'll get another program and different results. Then that's when you can get rid of the addiction by addressing your wound and reprogramming all of this. It sounds a bit like scientific, or it sounds for some people out of the ordinary or maybe unreachable, but I assure you it is reachable if you do the work, if you put the effort in it. Because I'm not saying that
Indeed.
it's easy. I'm not saying that at all, because it's not easy. In fact, it is not like some magic wand or the pink light is coming down on you with consciousness and suddenly, miraculously, everything disappeared. It's not like
Yes,
that. It is hard,
definitely.
very
So
hard,
how long
but doable.
before we go to how you know the after you start healing, how long did you spend? How many years did you spend in these addiction?
2 decades.
2 decades, because you
Yes,
said you went through different substances
yes,
and I mean these are even quite expensive
yes,
um, substances.
yes.
How were you able to supply yourself with the substances?
The substances came from my boyfriends, so they were the main dealers, and I didn't have to pay. That was, at that time, it was my luck, but that was not my luck. That, yeah, I didn't have to pay, so it came to me. But other people do have to pay, so it can become very expensive. But
Yeah,
I'm going to explain to you, because that's was your questions. Uh, I'm gonna tell you which one came after which one, so that people have
yeah,
like kind of a timeline. What went after the other one, right?
yeah, yeah.
So from teenage year till 21, it was like the party drugs. Like I told you, the ecstasy, the speed, the cocaine, and the LSD. Then it gotten so dark, I got rid of it. I said, hell no, I don't want it anymore. I went into a clinic, rehabilitation clinic, and I got off of it. And I thought, yes, the world
Can
is
you
mine.
expand? Can you expand about the darkness period with the LSD? To, I mean, I don't know much. I don't know anything about the drugs. Can you expand on why it got dark? Or, effect on your body, effect on, you know, why it was dark.
Yes, I call it the prices to pay, right? When you had my addictions, or that was my experience, after a while, my mom and my dad started to see me changing because I lost weight. But then I told them I lied. Oh, I'm on a diet. It could be. Anyone can go on a diet, right? But then they started to see when I got home, I was looking really out of the ordinary. When I went, I was normal Annick. And when I came home, I was like, "Ah," they could see it. And every time I managed to quickly go to my bedroom, but they saw me a few times and they must have think like, "Oh, there is something off with her." Um, yeah, after a while, you can see it, and I felt it. I lost so much weight. I was, when you don't eat correctly, you don't get enough salt and hydration and all that stuff. So I was like having the almost going from myself sometimes. It gotten dark because not only was I physically not well after a few years of doing that, but all the things I saw around me. I also saw other people
Right.
declining. I saw fighting stuff, people fighting with knives and with guns and aggression, and I saw all of that, and that creeps into your mind also. So it was not only the physical, it was also the mental. It is very heavy what
Right.
you see there in the drug world, all those gangs and those nasty stuffs, and yeah, it's heavy to carry. So
Okay.
I
I see. I
wanted to
understand now.
I wanted completely out, different environment, and being okay. I think is the whole thing was weighing on me as a whole, not only the substances but everything I encountered. It was only 3 years. Some people are heroin addicts for 20 years. So
Yeah.
when you meet those kind of people who are doing the same, it is never rainbows and unicorns. I promise you, it's not. So that was why the darkness. I said no, it's enough for me. I don't want this. This is not the life I envisioned. I'm out of here, and that's what I
Right.
did.
Okay. I see. Basically,
Yes.
okay, you enjoyed what was good, but then,
Mm.
of course, you saw the other side of the
Yes.
world, and that was the darkness you experienced. I
Yes.
see. Okay.
I'm gonna give you one example. What? Oh, I still. It's creepy when I think of it. I saw that in two different clubs, nightclubs, where you go for dancing, right? And
Yeah.
for example, the bouncers, because bouncers are also different kind of people. They have their little clan. Um, my boyfriend was the dealer, right? He got access, but he paid those bouncers to shut up about the dealing. That's how it goes. They get their little payment, and
Yeah.
okay. And then you saw, because he was a big dealer, right? But then you had the little dealers, which means a young boy from 20 years old who carries only like 5 tablets to want to sell them to have a little bit of money. As the big dealers, they have like 500 tablets because and they go get more if it's completely sold out. So what they would do, I saw it in different clubs, is they would take that guy in front of everybody, right? They would diminish him, but that's one thing. They would humiliate him. They would take the drugs to sell them themselves to have the money, and they would beat him up with 5 bouncers. Can you imagine? Blood everywhere, just to show, listen, we are the
Who's the
boss here.
boss?
Yes. And then they would I saw that they took it and they threw him on top of the garbage. That's like big garbage containers, just to dispose of him and it was a young innocent boy who didn't, who don't
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't want to harm anyone, just to show off and to make a statement. And that is, yeah. It's still in my mind like it happened yesterday. Because that's what happens when you are in that world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Wow.
Mm.
Okay. It's quite an experience. Yes. It's quite an experience. I mean,
Yes.
you know, if you were never in that world, you hear stuff, but to hear it from, your own experience
Yes.
is something else. Is wow. It's a
So
very
that was, we are on the timeline now. I am like 21. I am quitting this world, right? This very dangerous world. I'm saying no. And then after searching for work, not finding work, I wanted to do something and feel something. I knew already normal work, this is not my thing. So I wanted to do something different. Well, I went for sex work. I thought, okay, I want to have money. I wanted to feel something because of this emptiness. I couldn't feel things. So I knew I would have cash quickly. I could spend money. I could go for my hair, my nails, do like beauty things. But that didn't last for a long time. That didn't become an addiction because I was completely um, disgusted with it. But In the meanwhile, my computer was working and I slipped into the stripper world. I thought, oh well, no sex, party, champagne, cigarettes, I'm gonna have fun. And I did have fun. Like I said at the beginning, it's all fun. I had money, I was showered with attention, I could do all my pedicures, my manicures, whatever I wanted. And that lasted for a decade. A decade. And without knowing, it was cigarettes, champagne, alcohol almost every day. Also sugar, coffee, just to have some peps.
Yeah.
I was addicted to basically all this package, this lifestyle, because it was keeping me alive and keeping the
Yeah.
money flowing. So yeah, that lasted for a decade. And after that decade, if I see pictures now, I look, you can see it physically. Mentally, I carried it, but physically, it was also, you could see it. I was like exhausted. My skin looked like kind of grayish. Yeah, you could see my body had to suffer, basically. And I stopped this because I was really addicted, when I think of it now, to especially to the money, because the money
Yeah.
keeps you doing everything. And
But you
basically,
know,
I stopped that world because of
yeah.
disrespect. That was the dark side of the stripping industry. The total disrespect. It was dripping all that 10 years, that decade. But after a while, the buckets get full with all that dripping. And one day, a client crossed the boundary. Well, that was the last drop. And I could not take it anymore. I call this the rage incident, but I almost killed the guy. I was on top of him. I was bashing his head against the floor because, you know, all that emotion and that pain and that disrespect for 10 years, oh, little bit, was all bottled up inside. And I didn't release any of it. Well, it came all out that night on this guy. I almost killed him. The bouncer there took me off of him, sent him home, and sent me home also. And that night, Liliana, that night I had to face the mirror. And I told this girl, so myself, you are gonna stop. Because if you don't stop, something is gonna happen. And then you'll pay the price. But it was hard
So,
stopping. It was very hard. But I did stop.
wow. I mean, I think, well, I don't know. I mean, the stripping is, yesterday I was watching, scrolling on the phone, and there was this woman. She said, I'm 42. She was from Italy, working in Amsterdam, um, as a stripper. And she was interviewed. And she said, I've been stripping since I was 18. I enjoy it. It gives me money, everything. And she looked very happy. And she said, you work few hours, and I would never get this money anywhere else. It's a very easy job and I'm very well paid. And you look at it and say, you know, she's happy. I mean, do you think do you think there are people who genuinely enjoy doing that work? Or is it just a cover up? Is it just to cover what is missing?
I know I enjoyed it in the beginning. I didn't enjoy it at in the last, but in the beginning I enjoyed it very much. It was a whole new world. All the other stripper girls that I met who were being nice and different kind of clients. Certain clients being extremely kind and nice, offering me the clothes, food, books to read. It was just a dream. I thought like, oh, this is it. But it,
So it's
yeah, it
not the
didn't
work
last. That kind of.
it's not the work itself, I think it's breaking up a little bit. So it's not the work itself, but it's what you said is the disrespect of some people, the liberty that some people takes upon you
Yes,
that
it's not the
makes
work
things
itself.
change.
Yes, it's not the work
I
itself,
see.
but then it is the work itself because your work consists in entertaining clients. And you can't control another person, you can't control the behavior of a client. I
Yeah.
saw in that decade how clientele changed. It went from very respectful, very well paying, really admiring you, even saying, "Oh, I'm sorry if they accidentally touched you," to being more mean, more direct, verbally disrespectful, then inappropriately touching you. It went from 0 to 100, slowly, slowly building up. So maybe that lady does enjoy it. I don't know. Well, it could be. I don't know, but I didn't. I see through all of that. I saw it change, and I did not enjoy it for one bit anymore. The last
Right. Okay.
years.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. I mean, yes, of course. Things either it's you that you're changing and you do not appreciate. Maybe at the beginning, probably you don't see much. I don't know.
Yes.
And then you start paying attention of the little things and say, okay, you get to the point that
Yeah.
things build up and you say, I'm not bothered to put up with this crap anymore. And then probably you say, okay, enough,
You
it's enough.
you know it's the money. The money is a big softener because you have to imagine. For example, your dream job, right? Let's say my dream job is walking dogs. Let's say, and I am paid 1 million per month. Whoa! But if they would take that 1 million away from me, that walking those dogs would still be my dream job, I would offer it even for free because I'm so passionate about it, right? I can assure you for 100% that every stripper girl or every sex working girl, even more there, if you take their money and you say now you do it for free for 1 year, they are not gonna do it. So the money is numbing you. Money is or can be, not in every case, an extreme drug. You can use money for
Yeah.
good, but in that world it's not used for good. It is numbing you. It is telling your soul to shut up, basically. But I remember, I made the most money not in the first years because I was that silly little unknowing girl. I was like, how do they call it? Very innocent and naive in the beginning. But after a few years, I developed that skill of knowing what to say and how to say it and to who I must say what. Ah, that was very good, and from there on, I made the good money. But then in the end, I still made the good money, but it was not worth that disrespect anymore. I'm not getting
Yeah.
paid. I remember, this is a good one. I remember a Chinese client in a very big club in Brussels. And this man had loads of cash. Point one, his face was blank. It was almost no emotion. He didn't smile, but he paid one bottle of champagne after the other one, right? So we were making real big cash. We were sitting, all the girls were around him. He wanted everybody for himself, okay? But it was not fun at all. We were sitting there. We didn't even know what to. We were just looking at each other and playing stupid, pretending. And then after a while, he started humiliating us and telling us nasty stuff. You're ugly, you're fat, you're big, calling us names, and it continued all night. He said, I can do that because I'm paying. And we were sitting there, yeah, and I was drinking just not to feel it. And after I was wasted, I was not even hearing it anymore. But you know what I mean? This is not the way I want to make money. I got
Oh, yeah,
conscious
yeah,
of
yeah.
that. This is not the way for me anymore because it happened more in the end. Not anymore. And yeah.
Wow,
Not
that's very
anymore.
interesting. It's a very it's an insight I would never imagine, but I can see how a rich person can get satisfaction paying girls just to humiliate them. No,
Yes.
not sexually, no, but just, oh,
No.
you ugly, you short, you fat, you this, you
Yes.
that. Oh my
Just
God.
verbally abusing us.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I can see that.
basically, we get paid for psychologically being tortured. What is that? If you get aware of this, you say, "What the freak?" You look in that mirror. What are you doing, girl? Are you nuts? Stop that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's wow. Hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that because if you have loads of money, you can do
You don't
all sorts.
care.
My
But
goodness me.
we are not at the end of the timeline, Liliana. So we were a decade of stripping. I stopped. It was extremely difficult because I had to go from a very high salary to bam, almost nothing. But I was determined. I said, I am not going there anymore. I don't want it anymore. It has to stop. So it was hard, very hard. I moved so many times. It was another kind of hell. But I did it. I didn't go back. Then afterwards, because I didn't address the wound. I didn't. I got off of that, but I didn't address the wound. It continued. And as I was getting older, I started to be
But
attracted.
were you aware of your wounds?
No. I was.
Yeah.
One client there had given me a book, a spiritual book. He's still my good friend, by the way, now. And this client, he came. It was not the big spender, but I had a very good connection. He was present when he was there. He paid me a few drinks, and we always had a laughter. It was filling up my battery when he came, basically. It was not for the money. I just liked him as a person. And he gave
Yeah.
me a few books, and that was the beginning of
Okay.
my spirituality opening, my country, the very beginning. It doesn't go quickly, those kinds of things. It takes
Yeah.
time. But it was the beginning.
There was a seed
It was a
planted.
seed, right? And then it has to sprout, one little, the other, and then the tree comes. It's not plant, bam, tree. It doesn't work like that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I planted the seed. I moved on, and as I got older, I started to get aware that I was attracted to younger guys because I had also one relationship after another. It would never work out. Oh my God. And when I was in my 40s, I started to like young guys, 27, 28, because it would make me feel good. I would feel young. I was not settled. I didn't have a man. I didn't have a house. I didn't have all the what society tells you to have, this program. I didn't have any of that. So I wanted to have something. So I thought, let's connect with young guys, and I want to feel something. Again, different form. The shape-shifting beast was there. So I started to watch porn and to get basically very horny. And those guys came over. Then COVID started, and I was even more lonely. And those guys some had girlfriends, some not, but a whole bunch of them came over to me just to have sex. And it was very pleasant in the beginning, as always, very pleasant, because I was the cougar lady and were very handsome guys, I can tell you. Guys who were like models. So I was extremely flattered when they came by. And even with one of them, I experienced new things. He was very fond of doing all this kind, trying new stuff. And I, as an ex-sex worker, I know a lot, but it went even further with him. So
There's
I was
always
very
something new
into
you
it.
can learn.
I was completely exploring something new. I told myself. So, but before I knew, it was getting out of control. I was calling them every week. When are you coming? When are you coming? I was buying toys online just to keep with my. I wanted to come every day. Basically, I was craving coming every single day. And I was talking about sex to anyone every day at the point that people started to reject me. A few people said, listen, Annick, you're a nice girl, but I don't want interaction with you anymore. You are crazy. Always talking sex every second. No. And then I started to realize, ooh, because I liked those people, were gentle, nice, kind people. And I thought, ooh, something's off. And then coincidence happened. I saw a man who knew one of these boys, nice guys, and he showed me pictures of this nice guy in an orgy. So I saw it. I saw it. So this guy was basically what I was becoming. He was already much down the road there. So that could be my future. Me with I don't know how many people having sex with swapping and doing stuff. At this point, I was having them separately, but I already was planning on doing more. And when I saw those pictures, I said, no, this is not what I want, because I was shocked a bit. And I said, oh no, it was the guy I liked the most from all those guys who were coming. I even stepped away from him, because I was kind of a little bit in love with him. I stepped away slowly, and it was just too much for me. That's how I knew I had the sex addiction, and I had to get off of it. Now that to me, this sex addiction, porn, sex, guys, was more difficult than the drugs and the speed and the LSD. More difficult to get off of, because it is more psychological. The other one was more physical to me, but this one had me really here. It was difficult. But again, I was very focused. I knew I wanted to get rid of it, and I did. And in the meantime, this seed I planted started to develop, and I started to go inward. And my healing journey started there. I went to India for 6 months, did a lot of healing modalities, and there I got to look in the mirror and face myself completely. A lot of shedding tears, of everything. But it had to come out, because it was all stuffed in there in my body. And when it says stuffed in
So
the body,
where did you
it's
go?
not a good
What
thing.
was your first healing modality? Were you approached by something, or you went out there to search for something?
No, the first one after the books, but books are also healing. So after the books, during COVID time, after I saw that oof, this is going nowhere, I had one of those crying episodes one time for 4 days. And I thought I have to look for something, because that is not normal. I felt so bad, and I got in touch with a person who told me, Annick, there is an Indian healer, a woman, you have to talk to her. But I have no money. I was complete desperation. And the guy told me, listen, she's very gentle, she's probably not gonna charge you, and if she charges, it will be almost nothing. I called the lady online, and she did me three healing sessions for freaking free. I was like flabbergasted. Imagine someone you don't know from nowhere, from a foreign country, and you are desperate, you have no money, you're sitting there, and she says, I'll do it for free. No, don't worry, I want to help you. And I was completely, nobody did that for me. Such a kind gesture. No doctor here or healer did that for me at that time. And I was so blown away. So we addressed the father wound. That was the first thing we did. We worked on the mother wound, and we worked on the inner child wound. And so after that, I knew I had to go to India to explore the whole thing. And
So
that's
at
what I
this
did.
point, you faced for the first time the wound,
Yes.
the trauma you so
Yes.
okay. That's what it brings in, the consciousness, your awareness. So you make you aware of what was the condition of your
Yes.
subconscious, what was caused by, and you were offered some lead to go to India and start your healing journey. Wow, interesting,
Beautiful.
interesting.
But at least for me, it had to go to such a dark place before I realized. So I'm gonna tell you the story of the two hells. That's how I compact it to tell people. So when you have addictions, one addiction, many addiction, doesn't matter. You have two hells. You have the addiction hell and you have the I want to stop hell, right? The
Mm.
addiction hell, there is a price you pay. Because any addiction, when you continue, it's gonna cost you money, or it's gonna cost you peace, it's gonna cost you your mind, your finances, family, friend, and what else? It's gonna. The list is long, and you have to pay that price every day. Ultimately, as long as you're addicted, every day is the same. It can get more, so the price usually gets higher, higher and higher. That's what I mean by darkness. And then you have the other hell. The oh, I want to stop hell. It gets too dark. At least for me, the price was going too high. I said, oh no, always more, 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 more. The stopping hell is also gonna cost you. It's not for free. It's not the magic wand. It's not like woo woo fluffy and all those things. No, it's gonna cost you consistency, focus, maybe also money, determination, and that is very hard also. It's gonna cost you, but that cost is temporary. Maybe a few months, I don't know, for some few years, and after that it's the release day. It's a freedom. But both of them are costing you. It is only the matter which one do you choose. You want to pay forever? You want to feed the beast forever? You can do that. The beast never says no. It keeps on feeding of you. But when you want to
Yeah.
starve the beast, you can choose the cost of paying for a while and then get rid of it. Anyone can do it. It is the mind. The mind is powerful. Anyone can do it.
So that would be your message to anyone. And I can see that, yes. How far gone can you be to go back to freedom? I mean, I think you went through a lot.
Yes.
And if you have something to say to somebody who says, I have no hope, no one, I will never get out of it. Because sometimes, watching videos and stuff, and you can see people maybe with addiction, they get to have like a near death experience for them
Mm.
to change and reverse the course of their addiction.
Many of them
So,
that I know of, they had a near-death experience, and that was the turning point. That's the
yeah,
ultimate darkness when you almost sacrifice your gift, your life.
your life,
Mm.
yeah. But before anyone gets there, there is a way. And if you were to give these people a tip, a suggestion, what is the most important thing to turn around and say no more?
Yes. Huh. First of all, you have to get conscious, and look in the mirror and say to yourself, I'm not gonna lie to you anymore. We are getting conscious and we are getting aware and we are seeing what is. And we are admitting what is. No more running, no more lying. It starts with the consciousness and the looking in the mirror. After you know what you are doing wrong, you have to make a decision. The two costing, the two health. Am I gonna stay there? Or do I want to stop? Because ultimately, an example, everyone who smokes cigarettes, they know it's not good. They know. So they are aware. But then it is their choice if they want to continue or if they want to stop. It is a choice ultimately. But
Yeah.
then in the end, when you decide, I want to stop, that's where the battle begins. Then you have already done three things, which is good. You got aware, you stopped lying, and you decided. But then you have to go and do the work. Put the focus in, put the determination in, do everything. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
You had to focus on the finish line. That's what
Yes,
you said.
yes. I remember vividly with all addictions. Um, let's start with the first one, the LSD, the party addictions. I remember entering that facility. I saw myself already as the clean, sober Annick. I saw her already going out because afterwards I went to study again for 3 years. I saw myself. I saw that vision of me. I already had that vision. So I was still the last day, the day that I decided, okay, tomorrow I stop the pills. Today I pop the last one. I saw myself already there. So I was envisioning this new Annick already. You have to have that picture in your head of what you want.
Yes.
And you must tell
Yeah.
yourself, I am gonna get there. No matter the price, the sacrifice, it's gonna hurt, the withdrawals, whatever. You have to put it in your mind, I can do it. Because if you're telling, I cannot do it, it's too difficult, XYZ, those are only excuses who are gonna keep you away from your goal. You have to envision the goal and go for it, no matter what. And tell yourself, I can do it. Even if you see the hurdles and ooh, it's gonna be difficult. Yes, it's gonna be difficult, but I don't care because I'm gonna get there. That's what you have to do. And yes, I have one good example. It's not about addiction, but just to give you an example. When I was in India, right, and we were doing the yoga teacher course, I was like 3 days in, and my body was hurting so badly because I was not used to using all those muscles and doing all those things. And the fourth day I went in, and my guru said, "So, Eric, are you ready?" And I said, "Oh, it's torture." And he looked at me very seriously. And he said, "Okay, Annick, if it's torture, then it is torture for you. Then you'll make it torture." And then he didn't say anything. So we went on with the course. And then it sunk in. I said, he is right. I am making it torture. So I immediately switched the next day and I told him, it's only temporary aching. It's gonna go better. I will do better every day. And you see, I was already making a new
Shift.
pathway. I shifted it into something positive, and because it was painful, oh my god, my muscles.
Yeah.
But that's how I arrived. Because I told myself, it's okay, I can do it. Your mind can destroy you or help you, but it's your choice what you want to do with
Absolutely.
it. You can tell yourself all the bullshit you want, believe in that bullshit, and have a bullshit life. That's possible. But you can also tell yourself, I am going to do it. I don't care what other people think. Even if people think you're delusional, you're digital, you tell yourself good
It's your
stuff
path.
and you go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how
Wow.
it's done.
Absolutely. No, you are spot on. You're spot on.
That's the
It's the power of your mind. You
yes,
make it or you break it. I mean, it's all there. It's all there.
and there are
Consciousness,
many
awareness.
examples. Many. I'm not the only one in
Yeah.
the world. I'm maybe a girl who had many different ones, okay. But there's many people who were addicted to many things who gotten out of it. So I'm certainly not the
Yeah,
only
because
one.
I come across in my family, for example, they say I can't stop it because my sister, because my mom, because my dad, because my husband,
It's
ex-husband,
excuses. It's
because
excuses.
my neighbor, because
Yes.
blaming, giving the blame for their decisions not to stop. It's because it's somebody else's fault. I can't do because they're causing me doing it. It's just a way of escaping
Yes, it
to
is.
face.
But they post-test one. They are aware. Because if they weren't aware, they wouldn't blame anyone else. So they know they're doing something not good. But then it's the mirror who scares them. They don't want to face the mirror, basically. And as long as you blame somebody out of yourself, you're not gonna get there. Yes.
Wow.
Which is sad.
There was a lot today that we covered, but the best part is how you came out of it and the determination, the final goal.
Yes.
That's what is most important,
Mm.
that everyone understand. There is always hope, and hiding behind excuses is just a way not to face um, the truth. But then, okay, we're gonna talk about in other episodes the
Yes.
spiritual aspect of everything we do, because we all go through different life paths, and every life have their own destiny, call a life path, and we're meant to go through these problems in life, really. So as we bringing today's episode to a close, we want to leave you with this thought. Addiction is rarely the problem itself. More often, it is a response to pain, as Annick explained. Pain, loneliness, trauma, fear of wound that have never been given the space to heal. So behind every addiction is a human being searching for relief, connection, belonging, or escape. If anything we have shared today resonated with you, know that you're not alone. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you, and your struggles do not define your worth. Healing begins the moment we become willing to look honestly at our story, not with judgment, but with compassion and understanding. Recovery is not about becoming someone else, as Annick explained. Thank you for spending this time with us and for allowing us to share such a personal and important conversation today. If this episode touched you in any way, please share it with someone who may need to hear this. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and remember, even if in the darkest moments, there is always a path back to yourself. Annick has shared her experience, and there is hope, and there is the light at the end of the tunnel. And before we leave, we want to remind everyone about our books. Actually, today I'm going to show you the other book. Do you have your book with you?
Yes.
Okay, so Annick. So today I'm going to show you the book. So these are our book. We've been writing our stories to share, and we share our stories to help people, because both of us and many people out there, they're going through hell, and we're sharing our stories to give hope and to say you can do it. We've done it. So many people have come out of the worst situation in life, so we can do it. Until next time, we leave you with love and see you. Bye.
Bye.
E acqui del testo qui la peccando, non sono pena satellus est statutas pro meritus sum, sed asset impia offendite summum